The Neo Egoist League had some of the best goals in Blue Lock.
There were over 40 goals scored, but in this video, we'll be talking about what we think are the 10 most jaw-dropping goals from the Neo Egoist League.
We decided to use these main factors when selecting these goals: skill and difficulty, narrative and impact.
With that, get ready to witness incredible moments of individual brilliance and chemical reactions that defied what we ever thought was possible.
Starting with number 10, Barou's double nutmeg goal versus Bastard Munchen. It's not just a technically brilliant goal, it's also a declaration of Barou's ego, individuality, his dominance in the game, and how he can take over a structure and use his own strategy to become his own king.
At this point in the match, Bastard Munchen is relying heavily on tactical coordination and metavision, with players like Isagi and Kaiser constantly calculating every move. But Barou, true to his identity, rejects all of that. Instead of overthinking, he takes control of the moment in the most Barou way possible.
After being molded by Snuffy's system and learning how to play with a more structured team, Barou chose to fuse this idea of his selfish playing style, but with also this new understanding of a system and how to use players to his advantage. And the result created this new version of Barou who can thrive in the system, but also bend it so it can serve his ego.
This goal reminds everyone that in Blue Lock, ego isn't just about intelligence or vision. It's about doing whatever it takes to be the one who scores. And with that, we move on to number 9, which would be the Kaiser Impact versus Munchen City.
This goal wasn't just flashy. The ripple effect of this goal and this match had huge development for his rival Isagi and for Kaiser later on as well.
Kaiser uses his abilities to take a volley shot that is so fast that people have difficulty in noticing the moment the ball is even being fired, as well as tracking the ball as it is traveling towards the net. When used in tandem with his metavision and predator eye, Kaiser is able to fiercely score near impossible shots with this extreme accuracy.
We know Kaiser is capable of doing the impossible. He was playing around with them at first, but as soon as he got serious, he turned it up the notch and said, "I'm him," and just shot this screamer from long distance past so many different players' heads. But the more important moment about this is the ripple effect that it had, with Isagi then learning metavision.
After analyzing Kaiser's goal formula, Isagi adopted Kaiser's transcendent use of metavision and even added it into his own playstyle. This was the true beginning of Isagi's evolution in the Neo Egoist League.
We'll talk more about this later, but let's move on to number 8, Bachra's game winner versus Munchen City. It was a true testament to his evolution during the NEL. He's becoming the standout ace for FC Barca. During the most critical moment, Bachra even stepped up on defense, and he was able to steal Nagi's pass for Rayo and ultimately crush Nagi's dreams in the process. This moment was amazing because it also showed that Bachra was going through his own true egoist moment by crushing the dreams of a player like Nagi, but he also proved his value as an ace for FC Barca and how much of a threat he's going to be for the Japan U20 team.
Bachra's goal not only showcases his individual brilliance, but also highlights the cohesive teamwork within FC Barca, with Bachra's decisive play serving as a catalyst for their success.
But with that, let's move on to our next goal. At number 7, Isagi and Hiyori's game winner versus Ubers.
The build-up to Isagi and Hiyori's game-winning goal against Ubers was a masterclass in synchronized play. The duo was able to combine individual brilliance with seamless teamwork, thus creating a chemical reaction beyond our normal comprehension.
Both players were able to align their metavisions and create a shared winning vision.
In the dying moments, Hiyori displayed his refined dribbling skills and evaded multiple Ubers defenders. Despite the pressure, he maintains composure and without looking, delivers a precise pass to Isagi, who has already initiated his run.
Isagi, who was leveraging his metavision and ecocentrism, anticipated this pass from Hiyori, and he positioned himself in the optimal place to score a goal. And thanks to this process, the two shared the winning vision without looking at each other at all, and Isagi was able to receive the ball in mid-stride and execute a clinical finish, scoring the game-winning goal and securing a 3-2 victory for Bastard Munchen. This was also the first time that we saw the shared winning vision and the way that a player can achieve their peak performance.
But moving on to number 6, Isagi's 2-gun volley versus PXG.
He was able to perfectly utilize the abilities of his left foot and his right foot, thus creating a new formula where he was able to create unpredictable and nearly impossible shots to defend against. And it's also clear that Isagi's physical skills are finally catching up to his elite level game sense and tactical vision.
Using metavision, Isagi identifies the one moment and angle he needs to score, even while under intense pressure from Rin and Kaiser. What makes this play special is how he combines that split-second decision-making with flawless execution, delivering a volley with his right foot after faking with his left. It's a moment of brilliance that proves he's no longer just a strategist, he's a lethal striker.
It also was the moment that Isagi was starting to become the main character in that match. But another reason why it was so important is because it happened at where it mattered the most. He was able to laugh in Rin and Kaiser's face while creating this new super play that makes him this world-class striker. With that, let's move on to number 5, Rin's crash shoot against Isagi. Isagi in the Bastard Munchen vs PXG match. This goal was an important moment in that match, and it became a force that stopped Bastard Munchen's whole momentum. After Shido and Charles produced that goal in the beginning, PXG's attack suffered tremendously. Charles slowly became tunnel vision, and he was starting to harm his team by trying to force these chemical reactions with Shido instead of playing with Rin as well.
With Charles ignoring his other attacking option, it was due to these circumstances that we were able to see Destroyer Rin demolish the field once more.
Thanks to Isagi's evolution and Charles abandoning Rin, Rin had no choice but to awaken his destroyer state again, and we saw Rin on a whole nother level. He was terrorizing the pitch, creating all these chances and even stopping himself from scoring just so he could then go on, create another play, and he even forced Charles to act as his playmaker. Rin really became the new main character on the pitch. No one was able to stop him. He went for the hardest path available, and he crashed against Isagi and then created a free kick in mid-air, which is technically one of the hardest things to do.
The moment, the goal itself, it was all there for this match, and especially the hype as well, considering we were waiting to see Destroyer State for so long, and it was back better than ever. This goal really encompassed a lot of elements that truly make it deserving of a top 5 spot.
Let's move on to the 4th goal in our list, Kaiser's bicycle kick versus Ubers. This man was quiet and locked down by Don Lorenzo this whole match, but the second he gets away from Don Lorenzo, he displays this incredible play.
And we see throughout the match, Kaiser grapples with his ego and realization that his usual tactics may not suffice against Uber's disciplined defense.
This psychological battle within Kaiser adds more depth to his character, and we see that he's setting the stage for this decisive moment. When he finally breaks free from Don Lorenzo, he takes Isagi's pass and he uses it to his own advantage. He tries to set himself up for the goal, and he was immediately crowded by multiple players, but this wasn't enough to stop Kaiser. Kaiser utilized this moment to adjust himself in mid-air and score one of the craziest goals in Blue Lock.
Kaiser uses the Kaiser impact in the form of a bicycle kick. This shot was just absolutely crazy. This goal was easily a huge turning point in the match, and it shifted the moment in favor of Bastard Munchen.
In terms of difficulty and skill, narrative and impact, this is one of Kaiser's best goals, and it was easily one of the best goals in Blue Lock.
Now we're moving into the top 3, and coming right back, it's going to be Kaiser, but this time it's the Kaiser Impact Magnus versus PXG.
It's important to remember that leading up to the goal, Kaiser was outshined by Isagi on multiple different occasions, and he was starting to feel the pressure of losing the team to Isagi.
We can see that Kaiser is desperate to make an impact. He attempted the shot with the ball, but due to being surrounded by 5 defenders, the ball not being stationary and not putting enough spin on the shot, his first attempt at the Magnus completely missed the goal.
After this miss, we see Kaiser reach his rock bottom, and this ultimately pushes him to his flow state. After reaching rock bottom and feeling despair, Kaiser went further to abandon his own fixations of Isagi, his fear of failing, and he was solely focusing on producing the best result possible in this moment.
This awakening leads Kaiser to reset himself to 0. Furthermore, abandoning his former Emperor-like playing style. After this, Kaiser decided to work with the Blue Lockers instead of fighting, and this led to an easier time maneuvering the field and manipulating the pitch to his favor.
To further cement this new awakening, Kaiser even abandoned his partnership with Ness. In the build-up for his goal, he ignored his initial pass, and this ultimately led to Kira getting the ball. Kira decided to align himself with Kaiser, and this ultimately created a new chemical reaction where Kaiser was able to achieve his goal formula for the Magnus thanks to Kira's pass.
This was truly an amazing moment for Kaiser, and the goal itself was a tone setter in the match. It seemed like Kaiser was completely defeated in this match up until this moment, and really seeing Kaiser strip himself of his ego and become reborn again, pop out with such an amazing goal was truly an amazing spectacle.
This was some of the best character development in all of Blue Lock. Seeing Kaiser break down from the superior complex asshole into a very relatable and kind of a sad character. Seeing how he just wanted to be loved, his whole traumatic upbringing, then for him to come up from all that and see the culmination of that to be his Magnus, probably one of the best goals in Blue Lock. And if it wasn't for these top 2, I would probably put it at number 1. That being said, let's move on to the second best goal in the Neo Egoist League, and that is Nagi's 5-stage volley versus Bastard Munchen.
Nagi's 5-stage volley is easily one of the most iconic goals in the Neo Egoist League. It was a 5-step evolution in real time, showcasing Nagi's instincts and god-tier ball control.
First, Nagi was able to perfectly time a flick up from Rayo's perfect pass. Then from there, Nagi was adjusting and reading the game, and he was able to account for all incoming defenders. And in that process, he was consistently flicking the ball in midair and cooking Isagi and Kaiser in that process, constantly changing his goal in midair and faking out these great players. Nagi hits this ridiculous volley straight past the 2 of them and Gagamaru.
The goal itself was Nagi at his absolute peak, but unfortunately this was Nagi's peak after defeating Isagi and scoring that super goal. Nagi had begun to lose his drive to get stronger.
After After this goal, Nagi was slowly realizing his own downfall, and in the end, he got locked off by Bachira, and he is no longer a part of the Blue Lock.
I can safely say, once the anime catches up to this point and we see this animated, this is going to be absolutely insane. This was easily one of the most hype goals in Blue Lock. I mean, it was just such a good goal that Ego even said, like, this is something that probably will never be able to be replicated again.
And unfortunately, Ego was right because Nagi was never able to live up to these standards again. Rest in peace, Nagi. Let's move on to our final goal, the #1 goal in the Neo Egoist League. It has to be Isagi's game winner versus PXG.
Isagi's game-winning goal against PXG is arguably the most important goal in the entire Neo Egoist League.
This was the climax of the NEL and the culmination of everything Isagi had built during the whole arc. Metavision, ecocentrism, perfect usage of Vastus, and the Luckies. Isagi perfectly anticipated Ness's awakening faster than anyone else, especially Kaiser. Kaiser was expecting a pass tailored to him, but Ness decided to send this challenging one born from his own growth, and only Isagi was able to believe in this, and he was the only one to react to this.
Isagi believed in Ness's potential transformation and was ready for that exact kind of play. Isagi helped push Ness into this awakening by forming a contract with Kaiser, deepening Ness's despair, and then used that very change to his advantage.
This goal truly does mark the rise of the Demon King, Isagi Yoichi. He's someone who doesn't only use the field to his advantage anymore, but he manipulates both hope and despair to dominate the field as its true king.
This moment marked his evolution into a top-tier striker, securing Bastard Munchen's victory and the NEL championship. If Nagi's 5-stage volley was the most creative, then Isagi's goal was the most complete. Strategy, build-up, prediction, and ego, all in one complete goal.
Obviously, there might be some recency bias for that, but when you take into consideration everything that built up for this moment, it's clear why this is #1. This is the beginning of Isagi's new awakening and his new version of himself as a top-tier striker.
These are the top 10 goals in the NEL in our opinion.
Like we said, we base this off skill, difficulty, narrative, impact. You guys might have some different opinions. Please let us know in the comment section what you guys think, because there's just so many goals to pick from. Like we said, there's over 40 goals being scored throughout this whole arc, so it was tough to narrow down a lot of these, but definitely let us know in the comment section.
And as always, if you did enjoy the video, please consider giving a like, comment, or subscribe to the channel. And as always, we do have a link to our community Discord, and that link can be found in the description of this video below.
Thank you for sticking to the end. It's Tev.
And it's Lotus.
Peace.